guys, it's Reenactment Day here, and I am doing a remastered version of my getting ready as a World War II Infantryman video. That video was recorded over a year ago, and when I had the just basic amount of stuff, and now I have like pretty much everything a GI would have been issued for the war. And so I'm recreating this video with more info, with more gear, with more pretty much more info, more in depth. And now that I actually have a proper camera, a GoPro, it should be a bit better. But after a year, I still don't have a better place to record, so you're gonna have to deal with my TV in the way, and you can actually see part of my shelf that's holding my collection. But so yeah, let's get into it. Alright, right now I'm wearing just a standard green t-shirt. You could also have a white t-shirt, whatever is easier, but I just prefer a green t-shirt. And I am also wearing the M1937 wool pants. Now, the description at the front, where I got these, said these are the wartime cut, and you can tell that because they're baggier instead of slim fit. Now, we found out that the slim fit wasn't good for war because they would tear. So, they're just looser, and that's the only difference. They're still the M1937 style wool pant. Now, you also got the M1937 wool shirt. This is just a standard button wool shirt. Need I also say that the fly on this is all buttons. There's no zippers. Old zippers are very rare on old clothing. They're almost like a novelty, but standard wool shirt, got 2 pockets right here. Now, unlike German things, GI items were very rarely tailored. The only thing that was really tailored was your dress uniform, but these wool shirts, basic combat wool shirts, would be just a basic fit, just like a lot of modern clothes. So that is the pants and the shirt, and as you can see, they're all it's a button fly, so it's a bit more difficult to button, but it's all fun. Next, holding up the pants, we got either suspenders or the web belt, which is the most common. The web belt is just a steel buckle canvas belt that can be cut to the preferred length. As you can see, there's a metal bit on the end, on the side that you're not going to cut, and it's just plain on the side that you're going to cut. You can take this front buckle off, cut it to length, and go from there. Now, how you're going to want to cut this belt when you get one is, if it doesn't fit perfectly already, like this one surprisingly did, is you're going to want to cut it right past the first belt loop. So it should go, just gonna pull this a little tighter, right past the first belt loop, right there. So that is how you would get the uniform on. Just something to just make yourself look better as you keep the buttons aligned. But standard wool uniform, keep the top button undone, which is very common. Another option you could have is the flannel shirt, which is pretty much the wool shirt but flannel. Same pattern, same everything. It's just these were more issued later war. The wools were more issued throughout the entire war. So the flannel shirt is an option. I wanted to throw that over there. So that is pretty much it for the basic top and bottom uniform. I will move the camera lower to show you the footwear and the leggings. Alright, so now that the camera is at a lower angle, you can actually see the pants a bit better. Nothing too fancy, just wool pants. But the socks are a standard boot sock. They're common with just the modern military too. You can get military socks, you can just wear normal civilian socks. Nobody's gonna see them, so that's pretty much that. Now, if you hear something moving around next to the camera, that is my dog. She's right there, right next to you. But so next, footwear. You can either have the Roughout or the rough-in boots. Now, reason they call them rough out is because the rough side of the leather is out. As you can see, on the inside, it's very nice finished leather, but on the nice dress boots, the rough side of the leather is in and the smooth side is out. So these are more dress boots, but they are very common as just combat boots as well. So if you gotta get either these or the Roughouts, get these first, then get the Roughouts later, because you don't want to get these all scratched up. So we move on. Also, as you can see, the sole kind of has a stop right here, and it continues. While the Roughout ones just go on through, making them better for combat. Also, you can dub these ones a lot easier to make them more waterproof. And you don't have to worry about them getting all scratched up. So, I'll come back when I have these boots on, and we will talk more about the gaiters. So now we have the Roughout boots on, and they do look quite used actually. They are not new anymore. They've gone through several reenactments and a lot of dubbing. So another pair of boots you could get are called the double buckle boots, and they pretty much have these gaiters built right into them. They are a lot easier and liked by reenactors because they're just a lot easier to use and put on, take off. While these gaiters, while they do look more standard and they were most common in World War II, they're a pain in the butt to get on. But they stay on, they look good, and honestly I just prefer them better. So we will get those on. I will do one because they take a while, and then I'll get the other one on off camera. So you just go, the strap goes under the boot, you fold your pants kind of around them, then you take these little laces and just lace them up. Now let's see if I can just get it on camera better. Can. So you just lace them over, hold the rope tight. Now either with originals or brand new ones, you're not going to really be able to pull them tight until you break them in. So they'll be a little bit of a pain for a little bit, but then once they get looser, you can just lace them up like that. Now you can see why they would take quite a long time. But again, once they're done, they do look quite nice. So actually, tilt my camera up so you can see the top. The feedback is delayed, so it takes a minute for me to see if you can see the top, which you can't see it quite yet, but that should be enough. So next, at the top, what you're going to want to do is pull this thing over, loop it through kind of like that, creating a nice loop on the outside, pull it tight, and you take this, you feed it under while trying to keep it tight, which is a lot of times the hard part. They're not going to be perfectly tight at the top, but tight enough. Now the main purpose of these leggings are to help keep water out of your boot and also help keep the bottom of your pants from getting torn up, caught on things. So that's what they were mainly used for. Camera back down. Now destroying my tripod. And right here, you just feed these up and through, and that's how they go on. Now that that is done, I will come back when I have the other one on. Alright, now we move on to the field jackets. There are two models that are most common, the M41 and the M43. Now I'll put them both on just so you can see, but I'm going to wear the M41. So the M43 is later war, as you can pretty much tell by the name, designed in 1943. Put my arm in the wrong sleeve there. Designed in 1943. This jacket is pretty similar, but buttoned up. You can they have these drawstrings. You can just tighten your coat to you, help keep some of the warmth in. This jacket is a lot warmer than the M41 jacket. It also comes with a hood that you can just detach, the M43 hood. This is so, it's just a hood to help keep you warmer. So, this is made by What Price Glory. Very nice reproduction, and it's just very nice. As you can see, 4 pockets, more storage. There are no internal pockets, which make me sad, but oh well. So, as you can tell, that's just the M43 with the buttons. Now, something fancy is the M41 jacket. With my division, we were under General Patton, and he preferred this jacket because he said it looked nicer and more traditional. So, we put this on. See, it is more of a khaki color instead of the green. So, as you can see, something fancy with it, it's pretty rare, is a zipper. This is one of the only pieces of field equipment that I know of that has a zipper. So, we just button this up, and button up the sleeves as well. Help keep everything all in line. So, now onto the part that's going to be most descriptive. The field gear. Now there are just many varieties that you can use with the field gear. Many combinations, it's crazy. So, let's start out with just what I have hooked on to mine. This is the M1928 haversack with the M1943 shovel, M1 bayonet, M1928 cartridge belt, the M1928 or 27, 28. It's hard to remember, but medical pouch, the M1910 canteen cover with the M1910 style canteen with plastic cap. Now, some of the other varieties of canteen is, I'll actually take this out so you can see it better. We'll start with the canteens. As you can see, it was more of a khaki. Right now, this is more of a, well, right now this canteen is made out of aluminum, plastic cap, and cap held on by a chain, soldered together in 2 pieces. That's one of the things. You could also be issued the earlier style M1910 aluminum cap canteen. It's pretty much, they are the same canteen, just with an aluminum cap. This one was more World War II. This one was more World War I through early World War II, and they were just also seen just throughout the whole war. And now the more varieties of canteen. We got the M1910 vertical seam canteen, we got the M1910 horizontal seam canteen, and very later in the war we have the M1942 stainless steel canteen. Now you can see it has a rim instead of it is not welded together, plastic cap, and also later in the war you could have an OD cover. Earlier in the war they were really rare. But so that's just the canteens. Medical pouches pretty much stayed the same throughout the entire war. There's the M1942 version, which I do not have. They were just a little bit bigger. So we will move on to actual bayonets right now. The M1 bayonet, as you can see, is most common with World War II. Bakelite handles, just a single-sided blade, goes to a point, and there was no date on them after 1942, I think. The way it locks onto the rifle is, actually I got an 03 stock right here to help you show how to put it on. Now, there's a bayonet lug right here, and this little loop would go around the barrel. There's a little locking hook in there that when it goes past the bayonet lug, it locks it into place, and it's just a simple release with a button. So you could just hook it on kind of like that. And if you're wondering what this is going to be a dummy 03 someday. But again, hooks on just like that, stays on, loop would go around the barrel, and you press the button and it comes off. So that is the M1 bayonet. Before the M1 bayonet, I'm actually just gonna set this down. We got the 1905 style bayonet. I have so many items on the floor. Some of the items are way over there. I gotta get them. But the 1905 bayonet, as you can see, quite a bit longer than the M1 bayonet. This was mostly used in World War I and early World War II. But as we got into the war, long bayonets just became a hassle. We weren't going to do bayonet charges too often, so we switched to the shorter M1 bayonet. Now, while we were getting the M1 bayonet, in development, we developed didn't really even develop. We took these very nice fancy 05 bayonets and cut them down into the 05 pretty much cut down bayonet. Now there were two ways they could have been cut. Could have been cut to a point like this, or the swept back version like this, as you see. Swept back version. Now, this was pretty much so we could have more bayonets quicker than we could produce the M1 bayonet. But as war went on, the M1 bayonet once we got the manufacturing down, it became the popular bayonet. As you can see, same length. I'm holding them down here, like you can't see them. I forgot the camera isn't so low, but the M1 bayonet. So we'll put these back in their assigned sheaths. Also, the sheaths are kind of like, that is the material. They're made out of fiberglass-ish material. I forget the exact name. But the bayonets actually do lock into the sheath. And the sheath hooks onto either your belt or the haversack. So this will go down over here because I can just throw this one because it's not too sharp. Don't throw knives. But so next, what we got is the tools that were on the haversack. Now the tool right here is the M1943 folding shovel. Pull this thing out. Actually, it's tied on to the haversack, but you can see it right here. Folding shovel goes into the canvas sheet or canvas cover, and it is just a nice shovel overall. I actually found that one in my Boy Scout trailer, and I asked them could I borrow or could I just have it, and they were like, I didn't even know we had that, so sure. Next, earlier war, is the T-handle shovel. It is, like it says, has a T-handle. Standard shovel, nonetheless. Cover, hook onto the same place. It's a bit more longer, that's why they would use the Model 1943 shovel, because, these were also just seen a lot, very common. Because they were we just had an abundance of them. Another thing you could have been issued was the M1910 hatchet. Really nothing special, it's just a hatchet. Cover could hook onto a belt or a haversack. And lastly, the M1910 Pickmatic. Now Pickmatic, again, hooks onto the same place. Cover is actually a bit more fancy. And is just a standard pickaxe. You take the handle out, you can take the head out of the cover. As you can see, there are a whole bunch of things you gotta fold over and stuff. Then what you do is you simply take the handle, drop it into the head of the pickaxe. Really how you're actually supposed to do it is like that, so it stays in, and there you go, you have a hatchet. Or not even a hatchet, a pickaxe. Sometimes it stays well, sometimes it doesn't. It's when you're using it, it's gonna get a lot tighter in there than that. But just take it apart again. Just hit the head of the pickaxe, take it apart. All right. So next, we are going to move on to the gas mask bags. Now, the reason I do not have my haversack and belt on right now is because you would like the best way to put your gear on is the gas mask and the bandolier first. So let's take a quick look at the gas mask bag. This is the lightweight gas mask bag issued to most soldiers. It was very common for them to just throw away the gas mask, actually the most common for them to throw away the gas mask and use this just as a normal bag. Because unlike the Germans, we did not check to see if they had their gas masks, and if we knew, they weren't going to use chemical warfare during World War II, so we just threw them away and had a general purpose bag for storing more ammo, more personal items, collectibles, whatever. So, how this goes on, it's like a satchel, right over the shoulder, and it goes on your preferred side. So, bandolier, I'm not going to put this on, but I'm just going to show you. This is a bandolier. This could hold more cartridges, more end blocks, more clips, whatever gun you were using. They would just slide into one of these pouches that are just cheap canvas. And as you can see, it's empty, so that's why I'm not going to put it on, because it won't look right. Again, but how it goes, it just go over the shoulder like the gas mask bag, and it will stay up here. It is very droopy, even when you, especially when you have ammo in it. I'll just put it on for a sec. It will hang a lot, pretty low, so when you put your belt on, you're going to want to make sure this is over the belt and out of the, so you could access more ammo. So, after that, we can put on our field gear. So, a little bit more about the haversack. This is where your mess kit would go. This is where your extra clothes, rations would go. And on the belt, this is where your ammunition would be. One of these could hold 2 5-round stripper clips for the 03, or it could hold a single end block of 5 rounds for the M1 Garand. So that goes over the back, just on it like a normal backpack. Thing straps on, like so. And now I will actually take my canteen and put it back in. That's not the right one. I like to keep manufacturers together, so the cup and the canteen have the same manufacturer. Which, actually, I don't think I ever showed you the cup on the canteen. So you got the canteen, then in the bottom of the case, you have a cup. Now the cup is a standard fold-over cup. And like that. Now you got a handle. You undo the little hook on the back. Close it. You got a cup, and the canteen will fit into the cup like so. Then go into the pouch. Forgot to mention that. I apologize. So this is the field gear. I have my medical pouch up front because this is how my division would have had it. You would have just been an easy, if you got shot, pull this, take out your medical pouch, or medical tin. Right now I just have an Altoids container in it. Spray painted OD, which what a lot of reenactors do. I put just normal medical things in it that I would pretty much need when going to a reenactment, such as moleskin for blisters, band-aids, normal things like that. So, canteen cover. Canteen is in the back, more out of the way. This setup has done pretty good for me at reenactments. So, this is the standard setup. If you get an end block, you just pop one of these open, pull it out. There's also a snap button to help hold it in place. I could see GIs just keeping that undone so they can grab their ammo a bit better and quicker. But right now, again, these are empty. So that is the belt. As you can see, gas mask bag goes underneath the belt to help keep it from flopping around. The GIs could often use this, could use this strap and just strap it around their waist. But GIs wouldn't like that, so they just cut it off and keep going with it. So, next I think we should move on to headwear. I'm just gonna tilt my camera up and I'll come back when that's all set up. Alright, now that you can see my head better, I can show you the helmet. Now this is the M1 steel helmet. This is an original. You can tell originals from repros and post-war because there's a front seam on it. Kind of right there. Let me just, yeah, you can see it. And so there's a front seam right there. Leather chin strap goes over the top. Good. This is made out of manganese steel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is an early style of helmet, which early style means front seam fixed bail. They're made out of 2 bits. You got the internal liner. You got the outer shell. This was so if something broke, it could be easier to replace. So as you can see, the bails on it are welded in place. Later they would swivel around, but This is a rare early war version of helmet. And you take the liner, which goes in. Liner is a perfect fit to your head almost. And the chin strap just goes over the edge. Perfect fit to your head. You got a nape strap right here to help protect the helmet from banging against your neck too much. And, you know, this goes around your forehead. It helps your head. Pretty much is for explosions when they happen nearby, and shrapnel. You can, when you have this adjusted correctly, you can hit yourself in the head pretty good and you won't barely feel it. So, helmet is an important part of the gear. One of the main ways that the enemy could distinguish us from other people or we could distinguish the enemy from allies, are the helmet. Now, we have the German style helmet right here, next to the M1 helmet. The silhouette of the helmet was a main target. If you see this one, you shoot. If you see this one, you don't shoot. That got a bit tricky during the Battle of the Bulge, but that is a story for a different time. So, a lot of Germans would actually wear their chin straps while the GIs would tuck it around back, because there was a rumor going around where if an explosion happened nearby and you had your chin strap on, your helmet would come off and it would take your head with you. Which one of my friends actually had a good comeback to that is, if I'm that close to an explosion, I wouldn't want to be alive to see the aftermath. So this is the M1 helmet. It goes over your head. Again, that's pretty standard. You also can have a helmet hat underneath when the weather gets colder, or whatever. So, unlike my old video, I have a better fake M1. This is just a wood-made M1. I got a video of myself making this. This made out of a couple pieces. I'm holding it right here because the glue broke again. So, that is the M1 rifle. This is what you would most commonly see. You could also see, which soon this is going to be a almost complete dummy rifle, the 1903. This would be a single, just a bolt action 5-round rifle with a, just bayonet lug. Everything's normal. This one does not have a bayonet lug on it because it is, again, just a wood one. But the M1 Garand would be a semi-automatic 8-round end block rifle. Now, unlike the 03, where you have to push the rounds down and take the the clip off, this would just eat all the rounds and the end block too. And when you're out of ammo, it makes a ping, which I will actually grab an end block and make that wonderful sound. All right. So when you ran out of rounds, end block would go in, and when you were out of rounds, this thing would pop out, hit a couple metal components on the way out, and make a good sound. Now, the Germans, what it's told is the Germans would hear that noise and they would pop up and shoot you. But this was pretty uncommon because there were going to be most likely more than one of you. So when they'd pop up, there'd be another one. And in the heat of battle, you're not going to hear that small ping. It's just going to be loud bang, bang, bang all the time. And especially if you're firing your rifle, you're not going to hear it. But even if you did hear it, there'd be another one to take you out. Now, what you guys would do is they would take that, and sometimes during like a quiet time, they'd fire like a couple rounds, chuck an empty end block, and make the ping. A German would pop up. They would just pop them with the extra rounds that they had. So that's something they would do. So that is it with the gear, actually. That's it with the gear. You got the M41 jacket, the M37 wool uniform, M38 leggings, Roughout boots, lightweight gas mask bag, M28 haversack, M1 bayonet, M1 helmet, 1943 shovel, M1910 canteen with cover, M1928 first aid pouch. It's a mouthful, and it's hard to remember all the numbers. But so that's the gear. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to do a quick, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a bit more of the uniform in full. So this is the uniform, and we will actually get on to that quick show.